Hi, in this video I wanted to discuss the body language of deception. In such an analysis, one generally starts with giving the person the benefit of the doubt, and by watching this person, one accumulates evidence to reject this initial assumption or hypothesis. This requires an understanding of how a typical person would react in this scenario. And once more and more red flags, oddities, and so on appear, one may come to the conclusion to reject the initial assumption and that this person is lying or deceiving. This procedure is admittedly subjective, but that's where good intuition comes in. So here I wanted to look at Keith Papini, his wife Sherry Papini, described as a supermom, disappeared in fall of 2016 from Redding, California. So she was presumably abducted when she went jogging near her home, but then reappeared 3 weeks later on Thanksgiving. She claimed to have been physically abused by two Mexican women, but despite of a huge national media interest, she never gave a public interview after that. Here Keith is speaking out after she had returned home for some time. Let's first take a look at the 911 call.
Hello, can I help you?
Yeah, I just got home from work, and my wife wasn't there, which is unusual, and my kids should have been there by now from, daycare. So I was like, oh, maybe she went on a walk. I couldn't find her, so I called the daycare to see what time she picked up the kids. The kids were never picked up, so I got freaked out, so I hit, the Find My iPhone app thing, and it said that it showed her phone, at our end of our driveway. We don't have really good service.
Okay.
So it's now almost half a minute into the 911 call, and it's already suspicious because the most important thing one would blurb out right at the beginning that the wife is missing. But in this case, he goes in a very long monologue. There's no indication of urgency. He talks very casually. But maybe at this point he doesn't really believe she has been abducted yet, so maybe they can be excused.
Not the end of our driveway, but the end of our street. So I just drove down there, and I saw her phone with her headphones because she started running again, and I found her phone, and it's got hair ripped out of it, in the headphones. So I'm like, this is fourth.
So I'm skipping now 2 minutes ahead because it's quite a long call.
Okay, are you headed back to the house, or where are you at right now?
I'm at the end of the driveway. I'm at the older.
So here he's starting to giggle. That may seem inappropriate for a 911 call, an emergency call.
Oregon Trail and Sunrise where they meet, because that's right where I found her phone on the ground. You're telling me that something happened to her, is the way I'm looking at it. Then there was hair.
So there's hair which sort of ripped out apparently, but there's no urgency.
In the headphones. It got ripped off, the ground.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know you're trying to keep me calm, but obviously.
What kind of...
Again, he's laughing. So it seems inappropriate, but maybe he's just nervous and so he is a little bit hysterical. Let's skip to the very end.
person?
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay. We'll have them contact you at your residence. Call us back if anything changes, all right?
All right, so they're going to call the number you just took down, the 355?
They'll probably call you when they're on their way, and they're going to come out in person.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
So very polite, there's no urgency. Okay, so there are some unusual things, but maybe there are reasons why he acts that way.
I remember everything about that day. Around 6:50 a.m., my wife was on her way to go check on our daughter, Violet. And we met there at the...
So he looks down, he doesn't look at the interviewer, he's very passive, very emotionless.
That evening, when Keith returns home from work as a Best Buy audio-video specialist, he expects his usual boisterous welcome from wife...
And I opened the door expecting my son comes 100 miles an hour right at me.
There's quite a lot of contempt, this asymmetric smile, but maybe when he comes home he's a kid's favorite, and so he might feel superior of his wife because he's the popular one at this time of the day, and so it's odd, but there might be a reason.
And then usually Violet right behind him. We do
so he doesn't look at the interviewer.
call, our family snuggles.
Still very
Instead,
asymmetric
he's
smile.
greeted
On near our mailbox,
So I'm skipping to the parts which are about him.
which is a ways away. It's about a mile away, actually.
He giggles again, he laughs. Similar to the 911 call, which is very odd.
What time did Sherry pick up the kids today? And when she said the kids are here, that was like, something is wrong. There's something wrong right now.
Keith's relationship with Sherry is a rare love story dating back to childhood. A storybook beginning starting with the 7th grade kiss. When they reconnected years later, Keith even
Handed her a box, and of course it was like all our little notes back and forth.
soon enough, Keith would find him
So there's a picture of him proposing, staged for the camera. I think normally there's no camera around when one proposes.
They look like a fairy tale couple. She like a princess, he like a prince.
So here's a major red flag. Having all these photos sitting around where they pose for the camera as a perfect prince and princess couple is highly suspicious. So whenever I see something like that, I think immediately they have to prove something. The marriage is shit. It's all fake. You know, her smile looks particularly fake. She always looks in the camera. There's something really wrong, I think, with these photos.
Their photos together seem as if they're ripped from the pages of a glossy magazine.
Exactly.
If she would have lost her phone driving home one day and she put it on the roof of the car and it fell off.
So he's using some expressions now. This is already an indication that he's acting. He's trying to emphasize something which he might not need to emphasize if he would just have a normal conversation.
Okay, whatever, I could see that happening. But the cars were home and the kids were at school. I knew something was wrong. I don't know how many phone calls 911 gets on this particular thing. 90% of the time, you know, they went to the store, or they're hiding under the bed, or it's not that. I knew she was taken.
Again, with a lot of emphasis, acting.
I picked him up and I told him I had something important to tell him, and he jumped up on the couch with me, and he knew something was up.
This is so odd. I mean, you have to remember now that his wife is home now. She's home with him at this moment, just hiding from the cameras. And it's very odd to become so teary if essentially the story had a happy ending. So this is always suspicious when during an interview the feelings are so mixed up and so roller coaster like, from happy and giggling to being completely stone-faced and calm to all of a sudden crying. Also, we don't see the tears, but apparently he's trying to cry at this moment. So usually interviews and conversations are not roller coaster like. When you see something like that, it feels like this person lost their mind. It feels very unnatural. It reminds me of a sort of bad acting in a soap, and because it's so artificial, I don't watch them. It gives me a bad taste in my mouth. It's tasteless.
And he said, "Dad, you can tell me anything."
I also think there's actually a smile, a duping delight. The joy one gets out of swindling someone and getting away with it. So the two major red flags are the highly staged photos, meaning the whole marriage is a facade, the happiness in the family is not real. And the second thing is this roller coaster like display of emotions, which is very unusual, or at least not for a healthy person. And you have to consider his wife is back at this moment. So why crying about it? Okay, so this is the main message. And very briefly, I wanted to look at two other videos which sort of highlight the same issue. This is by Amber Heard. She's an American actress who claimed her husband, Johnny Depp, hit her and abused her. This was now a few years back. This little episode here is in court during a deposition, and she describes her abuse.
As hard as he could at my face. I put my head down. I said, "You hit me." I was crying. I said, "Johnny, you hit me," because then I start hearing things being smashed, and I said to him, "Honey, you hit me in the eye, my eye. And I start crying, and
Oops. So here she has a hard time recollecting even the events. So a really abuse victim would be scared, display fear, and would very much know what happened.
He approaches me, and I don't know
She certainly doesn't know.
if I, in here feeling him approach, anticipate
So bad.
to try to
It's
get
just...
up, or if I help him help me up, or if he just did it all by grabbing my hair. But for some reason, I had some aid in getting up off the couch.
What a stammering around. What a nonsense story.
By him grabbing my head, mostly on my right side, the impact of which was significant in and of itself. He grabs my...
She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Grabs my head, takes a fistful of my hair and says, I hit your eye, huh? Let me see your eye. Let me see your eye. What if I pull your hair back? And he...
Anger, but there's no fear on her side.
Yanks my head back, and he's, I don't know, smacking my face or moving my
If you get smacked in the face, you better know that.
face, and he's got me by the hair.
And now she's trying to cry, so this is this emotional roller coaster from anger to emotionless to sadness or trying to cry.
It's hard to describe. It's like yanking me from side to side with my hair.
Are you standing up at this time?
Yeah.
Okay. And has he...
And now she's very collected again and tries to look a little bit sad and to gain some sympathy.
pulled out any hair from your head?
He's still holding on to my head.
She's not even answering the question. So that's all, of course, a lot of rubbish. So here, briefly, I also wanted to talk again about Jussie Smollett, who apparently staged a hate crime to gain some media attention. And I did a previous YouTube video about that. Let's have another quick look.
My rib was bruised, but nothing was cracked. Like, I walked into the hospital. I walked out of the hospital.
Why do you think you were targeted?
I can just assume, I come really, really hard
God. So here he is all of a sudden very happy and smiley.
against 45. I come really, really hard against his administration. Ties a noose around your neck and pours bleach on you. And this is just a friendly fight. I will never be the man that this did not happen to. I am forever changed. And I don't subscribe to the idea that everything happens for a reason, but I do subscribe to the idea that we have the right and the
He
responsibility
is giving this very emotional speech from happy to teary. That's again looks very artificial.
to make something meaningful out of the things that happen to us, good and bad.
What do you feel people need to hear the most from this story?
I think that what people need to hear is just the truth.
So these are empty phrases, like a bad TV script.
I just want young people, young members of the LGBTQ community, young black children
Now he's from happy and neutral going to slightly angry.
to know how strong that they are, to know the power that they hold in their little pinky. I want that video found so badly because for probably 4 reasons. Number one, I want them to find the people that did it.
Having these 4 reasons means he's very prepared, yeah? It's all like a script.
Number two, I want them to stop being able to say alleged attack. Number 3, I want them to see that I fought back. And I want a little gay boy who might watch this to see that I fought back.
Okay, so what all these 3 videos have in common is that there's a fast pace in changing emotions being displayed. When you watch people like that, it feels like they lost their mind. It's very unnatural to show this roller coaster like display of emotions. Normally emotions build up slowly, and during an interview or during a conversation, that mood doesn't change significantly. This indicates acting, false emotions, and hence deception. Okay, I hope you liked this video and talk to you next time. Bye.